Welcome. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating idea from Dr. Siamak F. Shirazi. It gets right to the heart of a huge modern problem. Why does it feel like we're living in completely different worlds from the people standing right next to us? You know that feeling, right? I mean, you're looking at the very same event, you're sharing the same set of facts, but the other person's conclusion, it feels like it came from another planet. It's so frustrating, and it turns out there's a deep structural reason why this keeps happening. So where does that disconnect come from? Well, the answer is actually inside each and every one of us. Dr. Shirazi calls it a personal reality machine. And, understanding how your machine works is the key to bridging those gaps. So let's take a look under the hood. To help us get our heads around this, Dr. Shirazi uses this brilliant metaphor, a home satellite dish. It's a surprisingly simple but really powerful way to picture how each of us builds our own unique version of the truth. Okay, so here's how it breaks down into 3 simple steps. First, you've got the dish itself. That's our senses. Think of it like an antenna, just passively picking up all the raw data from the world, no bias at all. Then that signal hits the box. That's our brain. And this is where the magic and, honestly, the trouble starts. The box interprets and filters everything based on its unique programming. And finally, you get the output on the TV screen. That's our actions, our lived experience. That's the personal reality we actually see and react to. So what exactly is this programming? Well, it's pretty much the sum of everything that's ever shaped you. Your culture, your family, the language you speak, even the neighborhood you grew up in. These are the filters inside your box. And this explains everything. It's why 2 people can get the exact same signal on their dish, like watching the same news story, but end up with 2 totally different shows playing on their TV screens. But here's the thing. We don't build these realities in a vacuum. Nope. We are hardwired with this powerful, ancient drive to find other people who see the world the same way we do. And this is how we build our tribes. This brings us to a really cool idea called collective consciousness. Basically, it's a shared reality, a common story that acts like glue for a group. It's what creates that powerful, unifying feeling of, yeah, we're all on the same page here. And this need is nothing new. For our ancestors, agreeing on a shared story, what's dangerous, what's safe, who's a friend, who's an enemy, was literally a matter of life and death. A shared reality forged a strong bond that helped the tribe survive against all kinds of threats. And this is where it gets really interesting. Dr. Shirazi suggests this primal urge to form a tribe is so deep, it's practically coded into our DNA. And if you stop and think about it, doesn't that just perfectly explain the explosive, unbelievable success of social media? These platforms aren't just tools. They are supercharged engines built to tap right into that ancient, powerful need to find our people and get our reality validated. But, and this is a huge but, the tribes we're forming online today are a totally different beast from the tribes of our ancestors. And this is where things start to get really complicated. I mean, just look at this comparison. It really puts the shift into perspective. Historically, tribes were bonded by location, by shared survival. Building those deep, meaningful connections took generations. Today, a tribe can literally form in hours around a single opinion. The connections are huge in number, sure, but they're also incredibly superficial. We can agree passionately about one thing with someone online while knowing absolutely nothing else about them. And this leads to this really strange, kind of wild paradox of modern life. In the past, your neighbor was almost certainly in your tribe. Today, the person you share a fence with could have way more in common with someone halfway across the planet living in a totally different reality than they do with you. Physical closeness just doesn't create that bond anymore. And all this speed and all this superficiality, well, it comes with a serious risk. The super fast formation of these digital tribes has a real dark side. Okay, so what's the big deal? Well, here it is, the absolute core of the problem. We get all the tribal behavior, that fierce loyalty, the us versus them mindset, but we get it without the deep grounding connection that used to take generations to build. It's basically tribalism on a really shaky foundation, and that is a recipe for conflict. Because these modern bonds are so thin, they're often held together by pure emotion, not by logic or reason. There's no deep, shared life experience to fall back on. And what happens? The information that spreads like wildfire in these groups is usually stuff that's designed to trigger a quick emotional reaction, completely bypassing any kind of thoughtful analysis. And you should not underestimate how intense this gets. As Dr. Shirazi warns, the passion is just as raw as it was 10,000 years ago. People are willing to go to war to defend these often superficial online tribes, just like our ancestors fought over a river that meant their actual survival. The stakes feel just as high, even when the foundation is paper thin. So, it all sounds a little grim, right? In a world basically designed to pull us into these emotional echo chambers, how do we fight back? How can we recalibrate our own machines to get a clearer, less biased picture of reality? Well, Dr. Shirazi's advice is all about recalibrating that reality machine. It means intentionally disconnecting from all the digital noise to reconnect with things that are more, well, real. Spending time in nature, for instance, reminds us there's a reality completely outside of human drama. Having actual one-on-one conversations forces you to see the nuance in people beyond a screen name. Art, music, they can totally shift your perspective. These aren't just nice things to do, they are practical tools for cleaning the filters of your reality machine. And look, if there is just one thing you take away from all this, please let it be this. Simply being aware that your personal reality is just that, a perception, a filtered interpretation, not the absolute truth, that awareness is a superpower. The second you truly get that, it changes everything. It gives you humility, it makes you more intellectually flexible, and most importantly, it opens the door to actually hearing what other people are trying to say. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. What are the filters, the culture, the upbringing, the experiences that are currently shaping your personal reality machine? Because being aware of your own programming is the very first step to seeing the world and each other a little more clearly.